Flights of Gratitude, we're at 9,500 feet. Adam here. We are just past New York City and flew over West Point. Adam, what do you think so far?
This is awesome. I'm really having a good time.
Adam came up from North Carolina. He lives near Fort Bragg, where we were both stationed. Tell everybody a little bit about what you did at Fort Bragg.
So I was at Fort Bragg from 2005 to 2019. I retired in 2019, but I was a CAF scout for 5 years and then transitioned to special operations and civil affairs.
So being at Fort Bragg, then you were airborne also?
I was, yes.
How many jumps do you think you got?
I've got 53.
53?
53 jumps, yeah.
We're flying Adam up to Augusta, Maine, so he can help out at the Travis Mills Foundation. Tell everybody a little bit more about exactly what you're doing up there.
So I'm going to the Travis Mills Foundation to work in a program called Warrior PATHH, and the PATHH stands for Progressive and Alternative Training for Helping Heroes. I kind of talk about it as it's a leadership course for yourself. It's unique in the sense that it doesn't focus on the traumas itself that we've experienced through our life, including our childhood, but it focuses on the effects of our trauma. So it's really kind of a unique approach to mental health, putting the reins back in the service member's hand or the first responder's hand so they can regain control of their lives. And so we have almost a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a peer-based program, so all of the instructors have been through the program.
And how long is the PATHH program total?
So the PATHH program total is 90 days. It's 7 days of residency. They'll be at the Travis Mills Foundation or one of the other locations. And then the remaining 83 days is all web-based, so it's short videos that they watch on a day-to-day basis, and then 5 team calls to check in and kind of stay connected.
How many classes have you instructed so far?
So this will be my 13th class that I've taught. So I graduated the program February 2022, and then came up to be a PATHH guide a year ago, December.
All your other jobs, tell me how being a PATHH instructor ranks with everything you've done before.
I have to say, in complete honesty, this has been the most rewarding job that I've ever had in my entire career. There's just something about, like, obviously we're people of service, so that's something that we're drawn and gravitate towards. But there's something different about being in a deep struggle, finding your way out, and then supporting someone else who's also struggling. I can say in honesty, it's the most rewarding job I've ever held.
So we're flying you up from North Carolina. What's life in North Carolina like for you?
It's pretty fantastic, I'm not going to lie. My wife and I have been there for 20 years now. We've dropped our roots there. I owned a small farm there for 6 years, and it's become home to us.
What were some of your deployment experiences while you were in the military?
So I've got four major deployments. The first was 06-07 to Iraq with 573 CAF. Then I've got a second deployment with them as well in 2009. And then when I transitioned over to civil affairs, I've got a deployment to Jordan. And then my final deployment was Afghanistan.
Adam, what would you say to a veteran to help them recognize that they could need the PATHH program, or to get them over the nudge of actually reaching out to PATHH to help them with their situation?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's be honest, it's scary reaching out for help. We've been conditioned and trained throughout our entire professional careers that if you seek help that you're considered weak, and that's just not the case. The reality is that when you're struggling, if you're in a deep struggle and you feel like there's not a way out, there is. One of the things that we focus on at the Travis Mills Foundation and the other locations that teach Warrior PATHH is post-traumatic growth. That's identifying and understanding that there is strength and opportunity for growth through struggle. So if you're in a position where you're struggling and you feel like there's no hope, there is. Opportunities through Travis Mills Foundation and Warrior PATHH as a whole is a great opportunity to help you see the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. One of the best stories that I can give you just briefly here happened several months after I returned home from PATHH. My wife and I had been married for 16 years at the time, and my first deployment was 10 months after we were married. And obviously I came back from that deployment a completely different human being. And so she was there with me through the entirety of my struggle, and then several months after I came back from Maine, from attending the Warrior PATHH program, my wife told me I finally have my husband back. And that was extremely emotional for me, but eye-opening in the sense that I now identify that I was able to refine myself as well.
Adam, is there anything else you'd like to say to veterans in terms of recovery and the civilian world?
Yeah, absolutely. There's just understand that one, you're not alone, and that two, there is hope. Hope is a really powerful word, and a lot of people lose sight of that hope. So maintaining the focus on hope that there is opportunity, that this is not a life sentence. You can change your life around. You can regain control of your life and have a life that's fulfilling and filled with purpose.